Hey everybody, this is American Idol Unaired. I'm your host Bennett Shear, and this is our newest segment, Aired Exceptions. And today our aired exception is Saylor, who is on the season of American Idol. Hey Saylor,
Hey guys, what's up?
how's it going?
I'm awesome. How are you?
I am great, and I'm so excited to talk to you. It's been so much fun meeting all of you guys, whether you've been aired or not aired, and I really enjoyed you on the season of Idol. And so, just super excited to get insight into what your experience was like. And, I think a lot of people remembered you. They loved your audition and
Thank you.
an amazing voice, compelling story. We didn't get to see you after the audition, so that will be interesting as well to hear what happened beyond that first performance. But if you could just remind us about who you are and your idol experience.
Well, I'm Saylor. I'm 18 and I'm from Oklahoma. And I auditioned for the 20th season of American Idol because I wanted to show the world that I'm more than just my story. I'm more than just, I'm more than just that. I've got a voice that I want to share with the world. And I think that gave me like the outlet that I needed to start to
Right.
do that.
So I know that sometimes singers try out themselves. They're scouted. What was your case?
So I tried out myself. I got on like a Zoom call with some of the producers, and it took like about 6 hours that day, just to, for them to tell me, hey, we want you to audition for Katie, Luke, and Lionel. So when they told me that, my heart like completely dropped. I was like, wait, what? Like it was just a surreal moment, and I never thought that it was going to happen.
Yeah, no, I bet. I mean, it's so many people in one this like big Zoom cattle call, and especially now, like, is it weird for you doing the whole Zoom thing and sort of in this virtual era versus if you had been standing in line?
I honestly feel like it's a little bit easier in the
Yeah.
comfort of your own home. You can really just like let it out, and you're not so nervous because you're in front of people. Because I had an open call in person with The Voice a few
Hmm.
years ago, and um, I mean, I loved it. It was a great experience. It was amazing, but I feel like I was more comfortable at my house, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, really. I mean, it's almost like weird in the sense that, COVID had to happen. And especially it was difficult for, I don't know if you watched the season where they had to do the live shows from home. And it totally, it didn't feel like the same show. But what it ended up doing for the audition process in the next season, the year after, it's like, it seems like they would never go back, even though things have kind of gotten back to normal because it must make it so much more interesting for the producers to see you guys in your element just at your house. You're probably more comfortable,
Yes.
and it's easier to find more people because now if it just either costs too much to travel to where they're having a bus or it's just going to take too long, now literally it takes a click and you're in. So I think it probably worked out for the best in that sense.
Absolutely. It went by so much quicker too.
What did you sing that first round?
I sang As the World Caves In by Matt Maltese. Um, and then I did another one, a cappella. I think I did How Great Thou Art. I don't know why I chose that song. It just kind of came to my head and I just sang it.
Cool.
And then they had me sing one more, which was Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Nice. And was there feedback or was it just a quick you're through?
There was a little bit of feedback. They they told me like, I love your voice. We're gonna go ahead and send you through to the next round. It was kind of like it was like a basic like that was awesome. Like they were really, really sweet. Everyone there is like incredible.
I thought before I started this podcast that it was cattle call, EP round, then judges, but sometimes I've heard there can be like five, six, several rounds of auditions depending on who you are.
Yeah. It's definitely like it's just like how they feel. They want like several different opinions, I guess, throughout all of the producers. So it's pretty cool how they like switch you through like through the different groups.
Right.
Because there's like different sections on the Zooms now. So like they'll send you through to like the Hollywood room or like the like it's like there's set rooms for like wherever you're gonna be sent to.
Right. Like mean like the cities that you would audition in if you made it further?
Yes.
Okay, got it. So once you knew that you were going to be going in front of Katie, Luke, and Lionel, which city did they send you to?
I went to Austin, Texas,
Mm.
but I wanted to go to Los Angeles. I was babysitting that week of like the LA auditions, so I didn't get to make it. but it did go to Austin. It was really, really fun.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, it's harder to notice now because I remember it used to be a bigger deal when they would like every episode of the show was dedicated to a particular city and like you could see how like
Yes.
the different like backgrounds and they like would do all these shots of like different areas around town, but it's kind of harder to tell now which city they're in because it's like
Yes.
all either in I think it was Austin, Nashville, and LA. But
Yeah.
nonetheless, that was pretty neat that you got to go there and I want to hear about your experience because it certainly is more than 5 minutes in front of the judges. It's days of
Yes.
filming. I just want to hear all about it.
So when I auditioned, I sang two songs actually. All I Want was my second song.
Mm.
So my first song that I sang was Fools Fall in Love. It's a really old like Broadway song back from like 1960 something. So I sang that song and they really, really liked it. And I went completely through it. I didn't crack or anything. I didn't cry. Um, and then we kind of got into talking about my story. And I guess like talking about it kind of drew up some emotions that I wasn't thinking about. And when I started singing All I Want, that's when I cracked and, you know, I
Mm.
cried. Um, but I honestly, like, I feel the reason that I got the golden ticket in the first place was because of my first song, because that one went absolutely incredible.
Mm.
But I got the golden ticket after I auditioned, and we went to LA, and I got through genre challenge. I sang I'd Rather Go Blind, and my feedback was incredible. They all said like, you're amazing, you have an awesome voice. You know, like Katie, Luke, and Lionel give like the best advice that you need as an artist, because like moving up in this industry, it's so hard. And they just like give you like the exact things you need to hear or what you need to work on. And mine was like my confidence and stuff like that. So I went on to the next round, which was duets, and I was paired up with Winnie Quesada, and she is literally the best person I have ever met. Like, she's incredible. She's absolutely amazing singer, like everything. We sang Dangerous Woman by Ariana Grande, and we were called the Dangerous Duo. And basically, our feedback, that was the round I was kicked off. And the feedback was, you know, we battled, and it was more supposed to be a duet and not
Mm.
a, you know, like we weren't battling our voices. Which me and Winley didn't feel like we were battling our voices. But I mean, if it was somebody else listening to us, I'm sure it sounded like that, because we both have pretty like powerful voices. I sing mostly like R&B, so um, but it was really cool to, you know, like be able to experience everything and be around everyone. Like everyone that I met was absolutely incredible. Um, like I still talk to everyone that I met. Even in LA, I talked to everyone in Austin. Like we all have like a group chat and stuff, and everything just worked out like amazing.
I'd love to walk through some of the individual rounds because, again, in the audition round, not only I didn't realize that we didn't even hear that first performance, but before you go into the judge room, you know, there's tons of other filming that's happening,
Oh
B-roll,
yes,
interviews. And what day did you get to finally perform?
I believe it was October 3rd, or it may have
Uh-huh.
been. No, it was the 5th. It was October 5th. I was the second day, and I was the last performer on the second day. So I was there from 6:30 a.m. to about 11 p.m. that night was
Hmm.
when I was on the bus and I was heading back to the hotel. So I wasn't sleeping very
Yeah.
good. We were up pretty early every day, like six o'clock. I would wake up at like 4 so I could get ready, because we would have to be camera ready as soon as we're downstairs. And like we can't go back to the hotel because it's in a different location than where we're filming at. So
Hmm.
you have to have everything that you need down in the lobby at 6:30, and then we leave and go to where we're filming at, and we filmed all day long. We had interviews, we had confessionals. And so in the 180 room, they actually showed a video of me singing when I was 10 years old.
Hmm.
Um, And I cried, honestly.
Yeah.
I just cried
Yeah.
because I was like, oh, like I can't believe that I kept going. I was only 10. I'm 18 now, almost 19. And I'm still going. I'm still singing and I'm still going strong. And I've been doing this since I was 2 years old, and it's all I'll ever do, honestly.
What sparked your love for singing? I mean, you're 2 years old, but I mean, is it just like I guess if you're that young, it's just like a natural thing that you picked up.
So I feel like the person that really like made singing a thing in my house was my mom and my grandma. They both sing, and my grandma taught me Tennessee whiskey
Wow.
when I was 2, and we would sing it together. Like I'd hold a microphone at 2 years old, and I'd sit up on a little stool and I would sing Tennessee whiskey all the way through with all the lyrics. And she taught me how to do Jesus Take the Wheel. That was one of the first songs I ever sang, and it's a Carrie Underwood song. So everything kind of came back full circle.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it is wild. I mean, heck, with Idol being on 20 years, so many of the artists that one might look up to may very well come from American Idol. Sure enough, Carrie Underwood, one of the biggest stars from the
Carrie's
show.
from Oklahoma too, and that's where I'm from. So
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
okay.
for sure. Yeah, but no, I mean, it's in your blood, like to be 2 years old and to still be doing it. Like they sure knew how to get you in that 180 room because it's just like a journey, and like being an artist is a journey, and to get to this point where you see the sign American Idol and you're there, and I don't know how much you watched it leading up to it, but I assume
Oh
that
yeah.
you're a fan, and so being there like that must have just been like wow.
It was breathtaking, honestly. Like walking into the judge room, I like all my nerves kind of like went away,
Mm,
and I like just got in the moment, and I was like, okay, like this is so cool. Like I just need to live and not be so scared, and I had the best experience I think I could have ever had. Um the judges were literally so nice to me. Like Luke gave me a hug, and like Katie and I talked about my niece a little bit. They didn't show that on, but we talked about my niece a little bit and like how I'm a babysitter, and they have genuine conversations with you,
yeah.
and they don't show it very often, like in the show, but like they're really genuine.
Yeah, I like seeing. I mean, I wish they would show that more too, because we know. I mean, Katie's now a mom, and Luke is a dad, and not to mention, they. I think he's adopted kids as well, or his cousin or
Yes.
something. I don't remember the exact details, but
Yeah.
and Lionel, he's had so much life experience, which is it's
Yes.
such like a nicer way of saying he's like older than both of them, but um no, it is clear to see though. I mean, even if they don't show it a lot, like I think it's easy to see that they do care. And I've heard a lot of stories
Yes.
from talking to you guys about how they do really seem like down to earth people who, despite having these enormous careers, really do just want to be there for you guys throughout the process.
Yes, they're so down to earth and make sure that you're okay. Like after I had sang and I had cried, like they made sure that I was okay.
Yeah.
And that like completely like made me feel like so safe around them. Like
Uh-huh.
that's just like because whenever like I get emotional, I don't get emotional very often. And so for me to get emotional like in my in my performance, like this was like the biggest moment of my life.
Right.
So um I got scared that I
Yeah.
put myself in, jeopardy of getting a golden ticket just because,
Hmm.
my performance wasn't the best it could have been. And they showed me kindness out of their hearts,
Yeah.
and in any way that they could have. They didn't have to, but they did.
And it's interesting too, because I didn't know that you had sung another song, and sometimes what you see on TV isn't how it went down. So if we had the
Yeah.
context of knowing that the first performance went so well, and remind me again what the song was the first time.
It was called Fools Fall in Love by BJ Crosby. It's just a really old Broadway song.
Yeah, well, it sounds like a lot of versatility in the songs you've picked. Whether it's from you telling me the songs you sang as a child to then the songs you've sang on the
Yeah.
show. It's pretty interesting that you've had a lot of different
Yeah,
song
I have a
choices.
lot of music background. I grew up in a um I was in a, it's called the CMSA. It's a Country Music Singers Association.
Hmm.
And I grew up in that. I was 3 years old and I would go and compete in Nashville for nationals. And I brought home a couple trophies for like 3 to 6, like traditional country. I can't believe I used to sing country, honestly.
Yeah, no, it's like a different side from what I guess we saw from your audition.
Yes.
I went back and I looked at the video again because I remember being really captivated by your voice, and I remember writing down top 24, and I mean that when
Oh,
I
thank you.
yeah, I like to try to play along and see how many I can predict because they film all the stuff that lets you guys know if you're making it to the 24 way before the auditions even start airing.
Yeah.
And also there's tons of stuff on the internet that could tell you right away who made it, but I choose not to read it because that would ruin everything. But
Yeah.
I made the list in my head, and there were some surprises, and you were one of them, and not getting to see you again after the audition was shown was surprising and disappointing. But I'm glad that we at least got to see you in the audition because
Yes.
we got to hear your voice.
I was honestly just honored to be shown,
Yeah.
or like to be like, even just the clip of me would have been cool.
Yeah.
Like I think just being on, like, just to be able to say like, yeah, I was on American Idol, like that's really really cool.
Yeah, I mean, the people who were not aired at all, but still they talk about their local towns. The press gets notified, all of a sudden everybody knows about it, like, or the post that just says I auditioned, like it blows everything up, and it's a very
Yes.
powerful brand. Speaking of your audition, so I watched it back today, and I was listening to what the judges had to say to you when you cracked a little bit with the second song, and Lionel was talking about how when he's performed and he gets emotional, or something happens while he's performing, messes up or whatever, and he's apologetic, but then the fans are like, why are you apologizing? Because it means that it was real, it was raw.
Yeah.
That's what people want. I don't know if you watched last season at all, but, or I guess now it would be 2 seasons ago because this season just ended. But Hunter Metz, he cried during a live performance, and
Yeah.
he was inconsolable. But Katy Perry's telling him, "No, it's real, it's raw. People love that." I mean, people really connect with it.
Yeah. They always they always told me, like, don't hide your emotions because people are there to connect with you. They want to feel what you're going through. Never hide it.
Mm-mm.
Always show exactly what you're feeling because they're going to appreciate that.
And also, you're clearly a talented vocalist, so they've heard what they need to hear, even from that one performance. Even viewers at home who didn't get to see song number one, that would be like a no-brainer, they got to hear Saylor sing very well, and clearly she was emotional. So that's a perfectly good explanation for why she cracked, and they make that decision at home. They're the judge. They're saying, "Oh, well, it makes sense. You're emotional."
Yeah.
But getting the golden ticket must have felt amazing, and I'm sure that it was.
It was
Yeah.
incredible. I like I never thought that it would happen. Um so when I did get it, I just ran to my mom
Oh,
and I gave her like the biggest hug, and all I could say was it's finally happening.
oh. And the words of Kelly Clarkson, I can't believe it's happening to me.
Yes.
Yeah. No.
Yes.
That's like, I don't know, it's very moving when you see those moments and then to actually hear them. And it is real. Like, it's you were there on TV, and now you're telling me here in real life that it really was that magical to
Yes.
experience.
It was so magical. Like I can't even like put it into words how it made me feel.
Mm. That's great. I mean, that's such a win, I mean, even if it's like the first round, it's such a win just to
Yes.
get that ticket.
Like I put it on my wall and stuff, and like
Yeah.
I decorated it a little bit.
Yeah, I see the whole I noticed the poster, the big blown up
Yeah,
picture of you
I have a
auditioning.
poster of me cheering.
Ah, that's awesome.
And then there's my ticket.
Wow, that's great.
It was incredible. Best thing was like I've ever had happen to me.
Amazing. Did you get the chance to meet some cool people when you were in Austin, or was it not till Hollywood Week that you really got to know people?
I got to know people in Austin. I got to know like a lot of people. I'm a talkative person, so I try to get to know everybody.
Yeah.
um, but sometimes I'm a little shy, so some people would like come up to me and like ask if I was okay and stuff. And like everyone there was like they had like they call it Southern hospitality down here. So everybody had that. Like it just felt like family. And we all still talk. We're all still friends. I made friends with like pretty much everybody.
Yeah. Now getting to Hollywood, that's like next level. I mean, arriving at the Orpheum Theater, which I've heard is even more beautiful in person.
Literally breathtaking. Like the architecture in that building is absolutely beautiful. It is so
Hmm.
stunning.
Yeah.
um Singing on that stage like made my heart so happy. Um that is like a prestigious stage. Like so many of our favorites have performed there. Um and I got to, and that is like crazy.
Carrie Underwood season, they filmed Hollywood there. I don't know if you
Yeah,
knew that, but so you were on the same stage as her yet again.
that's so cool. Like it still blows my mind.
The excitement in the air, I'm sure, like just to arrive and meet so many other people. Like, was it fun? I know you mentioned being a little bit shy, but I'm sure it's also like being shy, but also talkative. You're also having fun
Yes.
getting to know people.
I feel like I got over my shyness pretty quick during Hollywood week because I was by myself.
Mm,
I didn't get to bring my mom. So, it was my first time flying alone. And I flew to LAX, which is like one of the craziest airports. So I flew by myself. I got there, I made it, and I made it home. So that counts for something. But I I don't know. It was just crazy. Like just like flying by myself. That was crazy. But getting like to the airport and stuff, like I had made friends in the airport with
hmm.
people that were in Idol. And um Christian Gardino,
Yeah.
he's one that I met in the airport. And we went and got coffee together.
Wow.
So and I we still talk all the time. Like he is such a genuine human being. I love him.
It's so cool to hear these like normal stories because we're used to watching the show and just seeing these people that like have become famous in front of our eyes, and then to hear this stuff, it's like it's awesome. I remember also he was on
Yes.
America's Got Talent a couple years ago, so I remember him from
Yes.
that. So that was wild to see him 5 years later on this show.
Yes. He's so down to earth. Like you like I think he's probably the sweetest person I have met. Like ever. He's so
Yeah,
nice.
he
He
does.
texts me
Yeah,
all the time and checks on me and I'm like, you are so sweet and I know you're busy.
yeah. I've heard that despite you guys being in California, it was cold.
It was freezing. We
Yes.
had hot hands. I don't know if you know what that is, but they're these little bags that you like shake up and they like go hot, I guess.
Hmm.
And we had those for like hand heaters, but we were like putting them on our like vocal cords because it was so cold outside. We were all like shivering. I think it was like 50 something degrees outside, and we were on the roof at the pool, so it was extra cold.
That's what everybody always says. It was the pool that was the worst thing to have to deal with.
It was the pool. It felt like winter.
God. So I guess there was some downtime before filming really started and like the work began. It was just kind of getting settled and getting adjusted.
Yeah, I feel like on my first day, I kind of just chilled. Kind of got everything like situated, got my outfits ready. Um, and then like I went out to Target with a couple of contestants and like we all just like walked around just like exploring LA. It was
Hmm.
our first day there, so um but after the first day, I don't think we had any other downtime.
Yeah, no, that's when the I guess Hell Week began. Once it was
Yes,
Hollywood Week,
yes.
they could call it. Yeah,
Hollywood week, very much. It was long.
yeah. So genre challenge. Before well, I guess in sort of a twist for you guys, which was probably a little extra work, maybe not that much more, but the mentoring with alumni. Um,
Yes.
who did you get to work with?
I got to work with Ruben Studdard. I got to
Ooh.
sing for him and I love him. He's
Yeah.
incredible. Like I always loved Ruben ever since his season, and I texted my sister and like because nobody like whenever we sat there, they were like, "Is that Ruben?" And I was like, "Yes."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Wait a minute, I'm gonna text my sister." And I texted my sister. I said, "Dude, Ruben's daughter just here," and she said, "You're kidding? No way!" But like, all my whole family was freaking out. We've all watched American Idol ever since I was a baby, so um, I grew up with the show, so I know like pretty much everybody that won.
Yeah, me too. Oh man. So were you like, did they film anything with you and him? Or I know that not every contestant got like a full segment with the mentors.
Yeah, we filmed like me and him like talking. He kind of helped me with "I'd Rather Go Blind." I sang it for him and kind of gave me like a few critiques. Mostly was just like hold my runs till the end and wow them. Basically, that's what he told me, and that was basically it. Um, he gave me like really good advice. He was like, just have that confidence, go up on that stage and do your thing, but hold those runs to like a little bit towards the end. That way you can wow them with it and just show them what you got.
Yeah, that's great advice because it's so easy when you have the power to just like show it right away. But
Yeah.
especially when we live in the age where it's like people's attention spans are so short, so it's like at the same time people don't have the patience sometimes, but also when you have to be strategic, right? Like you have to hold out because the judges are being critical and they are going to sit through a minute and they're willing to wait for it, and then once they've waited and they you kind of ease into it and then that run hits and it's like they got what they were waiting for.
Yes,
Did you get to see any of the other mentors? I mean, I don't know if you interacted,
I
but
did. I got to see Jordan Sparks. I said hey to her. She was a little busy, but she's literally so beautiful. I listened to Jordan Sparks since I was like, I guess I'd say a baby. But my dog would actually sing Battlefield when we were kids. Um, which I know it sounds crazy, like a dog singing, but she would really like sing the song and
yeah.
like howl it, I guess. It was so funny. She was like a little tiny like teacup Yorkie. She would just howl that song all the time.
Well, I'm trying to think. Okay, like I'm trying to imagine this in my head, and I want to try it out loud, but I think I'd butcher it. But I'm trying to think: is it like is she doing the verse? Is she doing the chorus? Like what's
She's
happening
doing
here?
the chorus. Why does
Okay.
love always feel that
Yeah.
good? Oh,
Oh. Oh. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. That's it. No, that's such a good song. Oh my
It's
God.
so funny. It's so funny.
Wow. Well, that was a treat. I mean, that's something that most contestants wouldn't get to do, a part of being a part of the
Yes.
20th anniversary.
Yes. It was incredible. I got to see Chase Beckham as well. He was really cool.
So after you film the mentoring stuff, and as we said, downtime's over, it's down to business. I know there's 2 days of filming for Genre Challenge, yeah, I
Yeah.
think. Are you day one or day two?
I was day one and I think I was line eight. And it was R&B. There was only 13 of us, but we got through it with our little line.
Do you remember who else was in that line?
I do. Winnerly was in the line. My friend Cameron was in the line.
Is that Cam Whitcomb who made it to top 20?
No, Cameron Champion. She
Okay.
was in she auditioned.
Yeah.
She was in the first audition.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool.
Um I met Cam too in Austin. We
Yeah.
still talk to him.
Fun guy.
He's so funny. But yeah, like there were a bunch of girls in our line. Like I think it was just girls. I think there might have been one guy and it may have been Tobias. But I can't remember if he was R&B or pop.
I remember him. He could sing, he could dance, he had the whole
Yes.
package. And I think he also, I don't know if we really saw him in Hollywood Week, but he got a yes in the auditions.
Yeah.
Hmm. That's why, yeah, that's why I'm excited that I get to talk to like some of you guys who that was the case because it's like it's kind of I don't know like I mean I know it's you know this but like it's a bit of a bummer like to not to like for
Yeah.
people to see you and then for people to not know what happened next, but I'm glad we're getting to hear about it now because I'm loving all this insight.
Like I've had a lot of people ask me like, "What happened?
Yeah.
What happened after?" And I'm like, I don't know. It's not up to our discretion,
Right.
like at all. So
Yeah.
they tell us we will film this much and only use that much.
Right. Yeah.
But that's like exactly like how every show goes, I feel. They just have to make sure they have all their content.
Yeah, I would love to be like a fly on that wall. Like I would I'm a big enough fan of American Idol that like I would sit in the editing room with them and just sit in the corner and watch them like go through all the raw footage so I could
Right?
see everything.
Like there's some interviews that I wish I could have seen. I wish I could have seen my duet with Winley.
Uh-huh.
And the feedback. I never got to hear my feedback. That one's a little bit of a bummer, but it's okay.
Yeah. So the wait's not like excruciatingly long, especially considering that your audition you're there all day. For genre
Yes.
challenge, you're line 8, so I'm guessing that's like what, like middle of the day, later.
We're yeah, about the middle of the day, like 7, maybe 7 p.m. So
Okay.
like little closer to night, but it takes a while for the lines to go through.
Mm-hmm.
Just because they'll do like a few lines and then they'll do judgment and then they'll do a few lines and then they'll do another judgment. So and they have to do each judgment by each line.
Right.
They don't just like put all of them up there. It's pretty cool though to see like how everything like plays out because they like have like the so, like the cues. They'll like talk and they'll say, "All right, here is judgment for R&B line, blah blah blah, whatever." And it's like really it's like nerve wracking to hear that because you're like, oh, okay, yeah, we're about to go up.
Yeah. So any standout performances for you because you're in the audience for most of the day before your performance? Any what do you remember?
My standout was Christian Gardino's genre challenge.
Mm-hmm.
He sang My Future by Billie Eilish
Oh.
and teared it up. I
Mm.
was literally in tears. I was like, you just like, I had chills. Like everyone had chills. We were all on our feet.
Right.
Um, Another memorable performance for me that they didn't air though was Thomas Moran. He did Forget You by CeeLo Green.
Uh-huh.
And we were his background. Like
Oh
the
yeah.
audience was his background, like the
Uh-huh.
and so like you could like hear us saying it and like doing all his background stuff. And it's so cute. I
Oh.
love him. He has the best energy.
Yeah.
The audition, like the last audition that I did, like was my crack and stuff. So I was trying to redeem myself.
Uh-huh.
So I went out there like clear minded and I did my thing and I really wish they would have shown that performance because I feel like that was my peak performance.
I think part of why I was a little surprised that it didn't show you not just because of your talent, but also because of, when that kind of moment happens, when a performer does maybe crack, they want to see what happens next, and so they do the flash
Yes.
through the audition. You hear Ryan saying in her Austin
Yes.
audition, she felt a little bit under the pressure. Will she deliver in this round? And then it's like the
Yes.
suspenseful moment, and then the judges are looking at her and they're whispering, "She did this last time," and then you do it and you kill it, and then the room stands up and they're like, and Katy Perry's like, "You have arrived." But tell me how it actually went in real life.
So I walked on stage and we have like things that we need, like we say. So like you'd say, "Hi, I'm Saylor. I'm 18 from Oklahoma and I'm going to be singing I'd Rather Go Blind." And then they'll ask you, "Why do you want to audition for American Idol?" And mine was, "I want my confidence back
Mm,
and I want to be truly me."
mm,
And they looked at me and said, "That's a great answer." And then I started singing and I was like walking the stage and interacting and just trying my hardest to, like redeem myself from that last performance. And I really feel like I did.
uh-huh. So you think they, I mean, I'm guessing the judges probably remember that that's what you were referring to when you said, "I want my confidence back." You think
Yes.
it clicked to them. Oh, we remember the whole performance, all I want. Um, so yeah, and clearly you made an impression because you made it through, and I'm sure you felt pretty good about it even before the results, right? Because it sounds like you got a good reaction.
Yeah. I mean, being around so many talented people, obviously it's nerve-wracking. And I know that I was not the most talented out of everybody because wow, this season was insanely talented. But I mean, we were all there for the same thing. So, I mean, I was there coming in with like no expectations. I didn't expect to move forward. Um I was just there to, like live. I was living my life. This is
Yeah.
like that was like my on my bucket list. So just to be able to do it, I was like, okay, like I'm so down. Like this is like on my bucket list. I want to do this. And I got to do it and I was so surprised that I made it. I called my mom and I was like, Mom, I made it. She starts like sobbing and I'm crying and my sister's crying.
And they're probably filming this, right? Because you're crying,
Yes.
of course. Now I'm wondering, so making it through day one, day two, I guess, even though you're sitting in the audience, you're probably still kind of tired. You're probably hungry because you're just sitting there, you know, essentially you are filming even if you're not performing. But I wonder if it's relieving or if it's just nerve-wracking because now you have all this additional competition that you haven't seen yet.
I was relieved, like from being on the first day because I had got it done and over with.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I made it. So like today's my day that I can just like chill. And it wasn't my day I could chill. I had to go film.
Right.
Even if it wasn't your day, you would still have to like be dressed in your like camera ready clothes and be ready like how you would for your audition. And we would have to wear the same clothes for days on end. So it was a mess.
Filling up the seats is how they get those reactions from the crowd. Of course, everybody's cheering, and even the people that don't air, that's kind of their chance to shine because you cut to the
Yeah.
shots and everything. But I guess they still want them wearing the same clothes because even if you were from day one, they want that consistency so that if you're watching
Yeah.
really closely, you can be like, oh, it's all from the same
Yeah.
round. Yeah. They know what they're doing. So, okay, so then the end of day two, it is an important day at the end of the day because you're going to find out who you're going to be paired with for the duet round. And the first twist that happens, which certainly caught me by surprise, is that the platinum ticket winners get first dibs on who they want to be their partners before the judges pick the rest of them. So, and I meant to ask also, even in genre challenge, did it affect you guys seeing them up there in that balcony, or were you kind of just doing your thing anyway, regardless?
I talked about it a little bit with Winley, and we were a little nervous because we didn't know if they were judging us or what they were doing up there because they had notebooks and stuff that they
Yeah.
were writing down during our performances. And I asked her, I was like, hey, do you know what they're up there doing? Because I know those are the platinum tickets. And she was like, I don't know. I think they might be judging us. And I was like, okay. So I got to interact with them too up there. I can't forget that they're up there.
Right.
Because they were like the only people that were up there.
Right.
So them being up there, it was really, really cool just to see them up there because every single one of the platinum ticket winners were so like down to earth human beings and so sweet. Like Jay, I rode in the car with him to go and do like we held up our golden tickets at a it was like a mountain in Austin. We had to like climb a mountain and we like held up our tickets and stuff. And I was riding in the car with Tyler and Jay, and Jay's one of the platinum ticket winners. And he is so sweet. Like we listened to music the whole time. We jammed out and like it was so fun. Like my mom loved him and everything.
Tyler, is that Tyler Christian?
Tyler Allen.
Allen. Okay. Oh, Tyler, the one that did air. I'm thinking of.
Yes.
See, I'm trying to think of all the names I've heard of from the unaired, and then there's aired. Yeah, I remember Tyler Allen from the show.
Yeah.
And he also, I don't think, did he? I don't know if he aired after his audition.
I don't think so either.
Well, moving forward into the duet round, was there a part of you wondering like if Hunter Girl or Jay or Kennedy would be picking you as their duet partner?
I like kind of thought about it a little bit, but I know that they had like made really close friends. So I knew like it probably wasn't me because I'm like pretty awkward and stuff. And I hadn't met Kennedy or Hunter Girl yet. So it was like my first time kind of meeting them after genre challenge been over because they were up there so long. Um, and so when I finally met them, they were so sweet. Like Kennedy, she's like a little Barbie doll. She's so cute. And Hunter Girl is literally the sweetest ever. Like, she's so sweet. I love that girl. I had a really great experience being there. And like all the time that I spent there, like I wouldn't have wanted to spend it anywhere else.
That's awesome. Well, even though the three platinum tickets, although you weren't picked by either of them, not any of them to be their duet partners, you all were then brought into another room where the judges told you who they were going to be pairing up everybody with. And you find out that you're going to be paired with Wenely. You definitely had a long night ahead of you, I'm guessing, because that is
Oh,
the night that
yes.
they really push you. Um, tell me what happened next.
When they called us up, I think it was Katie. I think it was Katie or Luke. It was either Katie or Luke. Um, but they said, come on up and grab your card and see who's on the back. So I pick mine up and I turn it over and it's Winley.
Yeah.
And I like turn and I'm like, I got Winley! And like we scream and like had this huge hug. They actually aired our hug, which was really cool.
Oh, that's cool.
But they didn't show our performance, sadly, but that was the one that I was cut.
Mm-hmm. I'm guessing the first thing that happens is you pick your song?
So we went back upstairs to like a holding area, and they had these big boards of songs. So we would have to pick songs from these lists. And so me and Winley were like searching, we're looking around, and we found Dangerous Woman by Ariana Grande. And I feel like that was like the only one that I really knew like all the way. And so we picked that one and we picked our name. We were the Dangerous Duo. And so we start practicing and stuff, and I start messing up on lyrics. And I'm like, I don't understand how I'm messing up on lyrics, because I literally like, I've heard this song in live before.
Right.
Like I know this song. And so I'm over here like, okay, I'll figure this out. But let's go ahead and like go practice with like our because we had like more mentors after that. We had India, and I can't remember who our pianist was, but he was really, really, really good. And so we go in and we start working, and I took the upper on Dangerous Woman, and she took the solid, and we sang, and we did our thing. Our interviews were like incredible. We got to do like where you walk up and you like pose like all cool, like you're like a cool duo and stuff. Like we got to do all the cool stuff, and it was just incredible. It was absolutely incredible.
I'm curious about the vocal coaching, because so India Carney, who is, I don't know if you know this, she was on The Voice.
Yes.
And, you know, that was, I was cool. Like, I remember first seeing her, I was like, I recognize her. I remember her. She's so good.
She, like, gave us the best feedback that we needed. Like, she got us to, like, where we needed to be in, like, our harmonies and stuff. Because in the beginning, I was taking the salt, like, the regular, and she was taking the upper. And I have like a lower voice kind of, and so you couldn't really like hear me. So we switched it, and you could hear both of us once we switched it. Mm-hmm. So it like we like completely mixed together so great.
That's good. Even though the feedback was really great, sounds like, again, a long night of rehearsing, I'm sure, just to make sure that everything was perfectly tight.
Yes, we were up until, I believe, like 3 a.m. and we got up at 5.
Oh, man. Yep. Never enough sleep.
Never. You don't sleep that week.
Next day, you get up, you go down, and then around at what point during the day are you performing?
I would say it was about 6 o'clock. 6 p.m. maybe. I got a little bit of feedback. It was basically like one of you fell back and one of you soared, and I was the one that fell back. And I said, okay, I understand. Absolutely. Like, I'm not gonna like act a fool But yeah, it was incredible. Like they gave me such great advice. They were like, please just don't stop. Please keep going. And
Mm-hmm.
like Winnie like gave me like the best pep talk because she went through.
Mm-hmm.
She killed that performance. She absolutely killed it because she was really stressed that day. Um, we were having like a really hard time because her voice was like hoarse and it was like gone, and she like could barely talk the whole day. She was eating like little. We have these things here in Oklahoma. They're called honeys, and they're like for like singers for like your. They're like little throat drops, and so I brought a bunch with me, and I was like, "Here, take one of these. Try to see if it'll work." And so we had a bunch of those, and we made it. And as soon as we got there, she got her voice back, and she killed it.
I'm also wondering about some of the other standouts from that day, because before you got on stage, there was obviously a lot before that.
Yes, actually, I feel like Hunter Girl and Cole Ritter,
Uh-huh.
they were chef's kiss.
Mm.
Like so amazing together. They blended so well. Like they were like a match made in heaven. And then Leah and Fritz.
Oh yeah,
those
that was
those two literally like best of friends.
yeah.
They're like the same person.
Yeah, I don't know any way around saying that it was probably disappointing, but I am curious what your immediate reaction was when you heard what happened.
Um, I smiled. Because I knew I was on camera and I didn't want to cry,
Uh-huh.
but I felt like I felt it. I felt a little
Yeah,
lump in my throat. Because I
sure.
mean, it's kind of it's hard.
Yeah,
I mean,
no.
it's not an easy feat. I mean, I walked out with my head held high, and I said maybe next time. Um, and then when I got out of the theater, like into like just the walkways and stuff, we were still filming, and they asked me, "Are you okay? What's going on? What are you thinking about?" And I I couldn't talk anymore. I was like, um, I'm sad.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to leave my friends. And I feel like that's mostly like what it was. It's like not really about even the competition. The people I met were like family. People like you never meet anywhere else. Like they're just the most amazing people I've ever met.
I just love the idea that, like, I mean, it's like the whole, from what we see at home, what American Idol's about is like, the person from whatever state that just has a dream that, they can all of a sudden become a star. But, for you guys, it's this whole other, there's a whole nother angle for that I look at it, which is that, it is taking people from all walks of life and putting them in one place. And you all
Yes.
have one common goal and one passion, and it all revolves around music. And, you could say it's like summer camp. I've said that a lot of times. I don't even know if there's a word to describe what it must have felt like to just be surrounded by other people who do the same thing that you love to do.
Honestly, being around people like me, I felt at home in LA.
Yeah.
I really did. I don't think I belong in Oklahoma. I've lived here my whole life, and it's just not really for me. So I think LA is going to be my next place
Yeah.
to live. But um, being around as many people like from Idol as I was, like every single person was like so down to earth and so sweet to me, and just made me feel at home.
It's so wild hearing the stories because it's like, I've heard like people talking about like, the jam sessions or like, I was talking to someone and they say that at nighttime they give you guys Uber Eats, but the girl's Uber Eats never showed up. So a friend that she had, like gave her his like Doritos Locos, and she's like, "Oh, you're a real friend." Like it's just the little things like that that you don't hear about. You certainly don't see it.
Yes.
Even if they did air, you would never see it. It's just like the behind the scenes that is just truly
Yes. Like
unforgettable.
when we like went to Target and stuff, we walked all over the store and like went and got like random snacks for the hotel room. And I had like a purse full of snacks. I was like, because Katie was asking for snacks. She was like, "Does anybody have snacks?" And I was like, "Hey, I have a free roll up." Need it.
Like Katy Perry or a contestant named
Katy
Katy?
Perry.
Yeah.
It's like I have roll up if you need it. It was just funny stuff like that. Like we all just like made random jokes about like just random stuff and like it was so cool like just being around people like that.
So wait, so when you go to Target, do you tell the cashier that you're all there filming American Idol, or you just lay low and act like it's all
We just
casual?
lay low and act like normal people. We're not allowed to say that we're with American Idol.
Sure.
I guess like if people ask us, all we can say is basically it's left to your discretion.
If somebody works at Target long enough and every like late November, early December, a group of young kids pile in, they seem to have this really tight knit bond, and they just
Right.
pile in year after year after year. You might think to yourself, well, who knows? They may be over at the Orpheum or the Dolby or wherever they decide
Right?
to film this year.
Because we were like right next door to the Target. So like we could just walk there and walk back to the hotel with no problem.
So what's it like? I mean, like it's weird too because they you finish filming in early December. The show isn't on for like another like 3 months, and then you're posting about it and you're telling people to tune in. Little do they know that you're cut and stuff. Like, what's that feeling like?
Um, Honestly, I like during the beginning I kind of fell into like a little bit of a hole. I won't lie. I mean, that's just life though. You got to take everything with a grain of salt, especially in this industry.
Yeah,
It's hard to get in. So, um, I feel like that was my first big no.
yeah,
So, it definitely like changed my perspective a lot. That you're definitely gonna get more no's than you are yeses, but that one yes can literally change your life.
for sure. I mean, what have you been up to? Like, because again, there was the period between finishing filming in December before the show even airs, and then the show's on, but you're no longer on it. So, like, what have you been up to since that whole time period?
I am actually enrolling in college right now. I got a
Mm.
full ride scholarship on my academics for I'm gonna go to a music school. I'm gonna learn music production and music science.
Wow.
And I want to learn how to produce my own music. That way I can start putting things out and, being the true artist that I want to be. And I want to learn my instruments and stuff like that. So that's why I'm in the music science. And I just feel like it's the right path for me right now.
Very cool. Well, Sailor, I really enjoyed hearing how much you loved this experience because it's just like it's very like special to not just like get kind of like the tea, the insight, the behind the scenes, but like just to like I just like am happy that you had such a good time and that it was a
Yes.
meaningful experience for
And
you.
I'm a chatterbox.
Yeah, me too. I mean, it's good for podcasts to have two.
Right?
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it was just like I had the best experience. Like I literally cannot think of one bad experience I had during the whole time. Even after getting cut, like I still like went out and like seen all my friends still out before I left, and like everyone gave me hugs and stuff and was asking if I was okay. And like after I had got cut from it was so funny because Fritz and Leah were in the they're about to go into the 180 room for like their we made it, we're going to the
Yeah.
showstopper rounds. And so I walked past Fritz and I'm like, bye, I love you.
Yeah.
See you later. And
Yeah.
he looks at me and he's like, wait, what happened? Wait, are you leaving? And I'm like, yeah. I
Aw.
said I got cut. And he's
Oh
like,
no.
no. And he like gave me a hug. And he's like, as I was walking away, he turns around and he goes, send me good anime recommendations.
Oh my God.
So I'm like, I got you.
That's funny. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm sure a whirlwind of emotions, but memories that'll last a lifetime. So,
Yes,
right? That's all.
absolutely.
I feel like that's the way to look at it. Did you keep up with the show after you got cut? Did you watch the rest of the
I did.
season?
I watched everything else. I voted the whole time. I would vote for everyone though. Like I would just keep sending in every number until I like ran out.
It makes sense. I mean, you were there, so you're rooting everybody
Yeah.
on, and that's got to be a wild thing to be there. Like, how do you choose between people that you share
Yeah,
that
it's like I
experience with?
can't. I get
Yeah.
10 I get 10 votes. And I'm gonna I don't know. Like when we got to the top 20, I was like, okay, who am I gonna vote for? Because I don't want to leave anybody out. So I'd go grab my sister's phone and vote on her phone.
I wish they like had the unlimited voting like they did a long time
Right?
ago. I was in the car, so I was driving back from somewhere, and I was able to text, but I had to like I had to pull over to rest stop, open my laptop, put the hotspot on so I could vote from the laptop too, because even 10 votes counts. I mean,
Yes.
you know, um, but hey, it's still going strong. It's still going strong. The show is about to turn 21, and I'd say it's
Yes.
still doing very well. Any chance you'd ever go back?
There is a high chance I will go back. I'm trying. I'm gonna audition for this next upcoming season with the producers, and we'll see where that takes me. If I get to audition for the judges again and show exactly who I am, and not just my past.
Yes. Well, you heard it here first, guys. So if you see Sailor next season, that'll be very exciting. I will feel very proud. In the meantime, tell people where they can follow you, listen to your music,
Yes.
everything.
My social media is Saylor Woodmansey. On Facebook, I'm Saylor K Woodmansey. Just the K, just the letter. And then I am just Saylor Woodmansey on TikTok and on Instagram. It's SaylorWoodmansee.
Awesome. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this podcast. And remember, this is aired exceptions, but we also have plenty of episodes with contestants who did not air. And, you just heard Sailor talk a lot about some contestants who you didn't get to see, including Wendy, including so many others. So make sure to check out those episodes. You can follow us on Instagram or TikTok at Idle Unaired Podcast, all the info that you need. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever, make sure to follow, subscribe, rate, leave a review. You can watch the interviews on YouTube. Thank you so much for listening or watching. And Sailor, thank you so much for being a part of American Idol Unaired.
Thank you for letting me be a part.